Good evening. It's 7 o'clock, so we're going to call our regular organizational board meeting to order. If we could all rise for the flag. So our next item is to call roll for the board.
Ms. Berkmeyer,
Here.
Mr. Green,
Here.
Mr. Richards,
Here.
Mr. Moses,
Here.
Mr. DeRue, Mr. Vendatelli,
Here.
Ms. Knox here.
Okay. I am going to make an amendment to the agenda, just because we have so many guests here tonight. We're going to move our item C, oath of office, down to below the board appreciation item, just because some of our students may need to go home. So with that change, I will accept a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. I'll support. Go ahead.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. And then we will move on to our board appreciation.
Good evening, Mr. Jankowski and Anchor Bay School Board members. Tonight, we would like to give you a big thank you for all you do for us in Anchor Bay. To show our gratitude in front of you, we have some special gifts made by the graphic arts students and the culinary arts students. As you were walking in tonight, we had the high school Red Combo play a few numbers. They will play a few more songs in a little bit. But right now, I would like to introduce our fifth grade Lighthouse Choir to sing 2 songs for you under the direction of Mrs. Tarnacki. At this time, I would like the Red Combo to play their song.
Thank you. Thank you to Ms. Tarnacki, and thank you to our jazz band for coming out, and all of our fifth graders from Lighthouse. The board, I know I can speak for all of us in this, that we appreciate having all of you here tonight and seeing the things that you guys are doing, and it means a lot to us, and I hope you guys enjoy these activities and that you get to keep doing them and enjoy all the things that you're doing in those groups. We'll go ahead and take a 5-minute break, just if any parents want to get any pictures, or go ahead and if anybody needs to leave, just so that we can get everybody settled. Any discussion? Go ahead and call roll.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Moses,
Yes.
Mr. DeRue,
Yes.
Mr. Vendatelli,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Ms. Knox. No.
Just open the floor for nominations.
Gonna open the floor for nominations for officers.
Ms. Knox, I would propose, I'm going to nominate a slate of candidates for the offices. In that nomination, I'm going to nominate, Mr. Patrick Green as president. I'm going to nominate Ms. Knox as vice president, Mr. Richards as secretary, and Mr. Vendatelli as treasurer.
I'll second that.
Do we have any other nominations? Okay, then we will vote. So the current nominations are Mr. Green for president, Ms. Knox for vice president, Mr. Richards for secretary, and Mr. Vendatelli for treasurer. Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Green. I'm sorry, Mr. Moses,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. DeRue,
Yes.
Mr. Vendatelli,
Yes.
Ms. Knox, yes.
All right.
I will
Congratulations.
respectfully request that you complete tonight's meeting before passing me any type of hardware.
No problem.
Thank you.
Next, we will have the establishment of our regular meeting dates. So the board received these far in advance. But for 2024, for the public, the organizational meeting is this meeting. We hold in January. We set forth our monthly regular meetings on Wednesdays. Meetings start at 7 unless otherwise specified. So for 2024, we have February 21st, March 13th, April 24th, May 22nd, June 26th, August 28th, September 25th, October 23rd, with a special 6 p.m. Start for the superintendent's evaluation, and the regular meeting begins at 7. And then November 20th, again, a special 6 p.m. start, finalizing the superintendent's evaluation with the regular meeting beginning at 7. And then December 18th, and then for 2025, the first meeting, an organizational meeting, would be January 22nd. So the recommendation is that the board approve the establishment of these regular meeting dates and that organizational meeting for 2025.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, motion passes. Next, we will go to our student board representative update.
Good evening. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Board of Education for all the time and effort you each put into making Anchor Bay a wonderful place for students to learn. At our meeting today, we took a tour of the administration offices and met all the awesome employees who worked behind the scenes and helped to make Anchor Bay to be the awesome district that it is. Mrs. Gonzalez even let some of us try out this fingerprinting equipment, and it was, of course, in test mode. I have the following building updates to share with you this evening. At Lighthouse, there is a new school club, Get It Girl, which stands for Girls Exploring Together Information Technology. And there is currently a Little Caesars Pizza fundraiser, which ends on February 14th. At Lottie, January 18th was a science family fun night, and over 100 people attended this event. This Friday, February 2nd is family movie night, and a lot of new before and after school clubs have started, including chess, coloring, crochet, watercolor, and board game clubs. At Great Oaks, the hat drive was a success and all of the donated hats were given to St. Mary's. For March's Reading Month, the upper elementary students will be reading to the lower elementary students. At McCants, kindergarten added a third class for the second semester. Quarter Wars was a school-wide fundraiser, and that is starting soon. First grade students are getting excited for March is Reading Month. At Ashley, there is a school-wide candy sucker sale fundraiser, and student council members will go room to room selling suckers for 50 cents. And an after-school science club is starting soon. At Neldred, the All-Star fundraiser is February 15th, and report cards will be sent home on February 2nd. At Middle School North, January 12th, the annual dodgeball tournament was held. There was 26 teams entered into the competition. It was a lot of fun for both the participants and the spectators. Dance team participated in a competition on Saturday, January 27th, and took first place in Palms and Jazz. And today is the last day for girls basketball tryouts. At Middle School South, there are a lot of new clubs also being offered here before and after school. For the month of January, students had the opportunity to participate in ski club, anime, arts and crafts, bridge building, weightlifting, and a writing club. Student of the Month breakfast was held on January 11th during first hour in the Shoreliner, and the boys' basketball season has ended and girls' basketball is beginning. At the high school, JROTC will be participating in a drill this Saturday at Howell High School. The Snow Coming Dance is this weekend. Charity Week was this week, and the chosen charity was named To Write Love on Her Arms, which supports mental health. Student Council participated in a regional conference and submitted presentations. The presentations about the scholarship basketball game won, and the team is advancing to the state conference at the end of February. And the boys swim team is participating in a county-wide meet this Saturday.
Thank you for the update. Next, we will have a JRO.
At this time, I would like to invite Cadet Major Aubrey Sebastian. And before she gives everyone an update, I want to brag about her and embarrass her a little bit. So this is like really cool. So she has received 2 congressional nominations for her application to attend the United States Military Academy, West Point.
Good evening. I am Cadet Major Aubrey Sebastian, and I'll be providing an update on the Air Force JROTC program. This year, we have 33 ninth graders and 5 new cadets from all grade levels joined at second semester. In hopes to grow our numbers, we hold monthly recruiting tables during all 3 lunches at the high school. Additionally, at the end of February, we'll be going to both middle schools during their lunches to promote the program. Our program is heavily involved in the community through several community service events. On December 2nd, cadets helped with the Goodfellow newspaper sales. On December 15th, we set up for the annual Wreaths Across America event at St. Mary's and Oakland cemeteries. The next day, we participated in the ceremony and helped lay wreaths. Additionally, during November and December, we held a toy drive for the Goodfellows organization. On December 15th, cadets helped sort all the toys donated by the community. Lately, we have had several events to increase morale and bring cadets together. Some of these include ropes course, Halloween and Christmas parties, as well as ice skating. In a few weeks, we are planning to go roller skating. Our competition drill team has had the opportunity to be a part of many competitions. On November 4th, we held a competition at the high school. 6 schools from 3 different states attended. On January 3rd, we traveled to Ohio for the Springfield High School competition. This weekend, we have 6 teams competing at Howell High School. We have a lot planned for the rest of the school year. On March 6th, we have our cadet-led inspection from headquarters. Our cadets have been working hard in preparation. March 15th through 19th, we will be going on our annual curriculum and action trip. This year, we'll be going to Dayton, Ohio, and Nashville, Tennessee. While in Dayton, our drill team will have the opportunity to compete at Air Force Nationals. Buc-ee's, museums, and sightseeing are some of the other things that we'll be doing. All the cadets are very excited. In May, we will be having our 3rd annual basket raffle, and tickets will go on sale in April. If you are interested in purchasing any tickets, you can talk to any cadet or stop by the New Baltimore Farmers Market. On May 19th, we will be having our annual meal ball at Zuccaro's. This is a very fun event that all cadets are looking forward to. All of this is possible due to the support from our Parent Booster Club that meets once a month. All of MI-931 thanks to the Board of Education for their continued support. Are there any questions? Thank you for your time.
Next, Ms. Kenward's going to speak about our CTE outstanding students.
Awesome. So every year we get to pick 2 CTE outstanding students. And these 2 students that are here with us tonight, we are going to be honoring them at the ISD with Mr. Jankowski, Mr. McKenzie, and Mr. McDonald this Friday, where they will be receiving their official awards. But I wanted to introduce these fine students. So if Jordan and Max could come up and I can talk about you and embarrass you. Awesome. So Jordan is in her 4th year in medical education. She is involved in HOSA, and 2 weekends ago, her team won the gold medal. And I know later on you're going to be voting, approving their field trip for their state finals. So that was really exciting to see her team win the gold medal. Jordan is also involved in Strive for a Safer Drive, wellness fairs, NHS, Link Crew Leader, and the Gift of Life campaign. After graduation, Jordan is planning on attending Oakland University and pursuing a degree in nursing. So this is Jordan. Our second winner is Max Grammons. He has been an exceptional student in the Anchor Bay Engineering program for the past 2 years. And this is what his teacher wrote about him. So I'm just going to read it. This is from Mr. Black, his teacher. Max has gone out of his way to help classmates succeed. He is an awesome student, person, and has worked very hard to put himself in a successful position down the road. Max plans on pursuing a career in the skilled trades field. So I would like to introduce our 2 CTE winners for Anchor Bay High School this year.
Right, next we will have Mr. Rathbun with our ESSER update.
Good evening, Board of Education. We've done this before, but I'll run through it really quickly again tonight for you. Every 6 months, as a condition of receiving our ESSER funds, we're required to present our plans that we have to the board, and also present them to our public and allow for public comment on our plans. So the first plan I'll go through very quickly. We do not have any plan changes to the plan this evening. So a lot of this information is information we've already presented to you in the past, but I will run through some of the pieces really quickly. The first ESSER plan we were required to provide was the Return to Learn and Continuity of Services Plan. This plan talks about how the school district will maintain healthy and safe environments for students, educators, and other school staff. We talk about how we're going to do that in the plan. We also talk about continuity of services, meaning that If there were a pandemic to return, how would we deal with the academic requirements, the social, emotional, mental health needs of our students? So that is also presented in the plan. As I said, we will have opportunity in just a few minutes for public comment on the plan. If there are any public comments or comments from the board, we would take those at that time. The second plan we have there is also our spending plan, and this is how we're planning to spend roughly $2.9 million that we received in ESSER funds. So again, at a very high level, no changes to this plan at this point. We're planning to spend roughly 15%, is that right? Sorry, educational technology. 13%, I apologize. 13% we're spending on educational technology. We're also spending a significant amount on addressing unfinished learning. The ARP Act requires that the LEA spend at least 20% in this particular category. We are spending 72% of our funds in this category. So we are meeting that requirement. And then the final category that we're required to do some spending in is student social, emotional, and mental health needs. And in that particular category, we're spending roughly 15% of the funds. So that is also something that we've covered with the board and with our public before. The section 5 there talks about the consultation with stakeholders and the opportunity for public comment. That's what we're doing here tonight. In developing these plans, you may remember we had a lot of strategic planning meetings that we met with our public. We met with our students and our staff to talk about what were the major items that they felt we should be spending our ESSER funds on to ensure the mental health and the adequate education of our students. And so we took a lot of that input in putting our plan together. So again, this plan is available on our website. I would encourage anyone who's interested in looking at this plan to visit our website. If you have questions, you may reach me at the phone number or the email provided at the bottom of that page where it says questions. And then the final piece that we've added is right at the very bottom, presented for public comment. And there we're presenting all of the different opportunities that the public has had an opportunity to provide comment. So that was the last piece that was added just recently. Are there any questions for the board that I might be able to answer? Hearing none, I will end my presentation there, but we do have public comment in just a few minutes. So if anyone from the public who's here tonight would like to make comment, I would encourage you to do that. Thank you.
Right, then we have our superintendent's update.
Okay, just going to provide a quick update on where we're at with the state of the bond program. So right now we have completed all of the installation of the door hardware and access control. We are now working on the tweaking of that as I think I mentioned before, right now it's a door sensors where there are a lot, people will get emails and alarms and so on if a door is propped open. And so we'll now have actual operational ability to know which doors are open and when they've been open and how long, if they've been open, and it will alert our security team. We're also working on rekeying all the exterior because that was a concern that we had keys that were probably not as well tracked as they should have been in the past. And so therefore the next phase is to rekey those cylinders and adding some, so then we'll still have access should there's a power outage and people need to have access to that. So again, that'll give us good exterior security. Temperature controls. So temperature controls, they've been working on that for the high school. This is, as our student representative could probably tell you, depending on the area of the high school, that you get a great variance. So this will be done by March. And basically every 2 weeks, there's progress meetings just to see where it's at and how things are going. So they've they're probably, I would say, just not quite halfway through that. But we're expecting that'll be done shortly here. High school phase one. So the addition footings are complete. Walls are starting to go up. So if you go by there, you'll be able to see it. Interior demolition is 80% complete. They're now moving into phase two, which we'll talk about in a second. The bolts are now set for the covered yard for the construction class for that addition there. And then just the mechanical and electrical is all ongoing. Phase two, right now it's going, that's in most of, that's not the addition areas, that's in the renovated areas. So they're working through the academic wings, and I'll show you some pictures here. And some temp walls, they're getting ready for the offices, the 4 office areas that will be in the wings. So you can see this used to be a science lab. It will now be the health occupations area. So demolition is occurring there. Same thing, you can see walls are going out because what we're doing is making two classrooms into 1 classroom for them. This is what was Compass Point, and now it'll be there'll be a teacher workroom, there'll be a band storage, there'll be a cheerleading storage room as well. So there was a window there that is being blocked up. And this doesn't look like much, but if you look to the right, you can see they have the tents were set up during the snow in order to begin laying the block, so that they could temperature control that. And this is what it looks like at night. You can see that they've been working on it. A lot of this is taking place after hours. So right now we are getting ready to finalize phase 3. And we're working through that. So the budget for that, if you recall, is about 3.1 million left. We're expecting that to go out to bid in May, and then it'll be awarded basically in August. We're expecting to have that all back by July, and then construction would start September 2024 for a completion date of 2025. As part of it, we are now kind of transitioning to the Ashley project, which will be the enhanced Ashley. So we set a timeline here, and basically what our goal is, it'll be most of this year, and then September we will send that out to bid with the October award date for that work, and that'll begin next calendar year. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next item is hearing of the public. So those who wish to address the board on agenda items must complete a brief request stating their name. Remarks about specific employees should be directed to them personally and should not be included in public forum. And public participation is limited to 3 minutes per person. I do have some submissions this evening. First, we have Ms. Janice Young.
Good evening, board. My name is Janice Young. I live in Chesterfield. I just want to say I am not in the Anchor Bay school system. Currently, I'm in the L'Anse Creuse, but previously I was in Anchor Bay. But I am here to speak on behalf of Sugar Bush Elementary School, as that is going to be directly affecting all of Chesterfield with the sale of it to Chesterfield Township. So I just have some questions for you to, kind of see where this board is at on that. So I do have an article from June of 21 where this board said the school would not be sold. Right there. And it's being sold from what I understand. So I'd like to find out, because I do pay tax dollars to schools, maybe not directly into Anchor Bay, but I'm sure my money gets funneled through there. So first thing I'd like to know is why was the school closed? I know there's some stuff through COVID, attendance was down, that kind of thing. Is it because of the age of the building, the amount of repairs needed? Someone just pointed out to me that the growth is growing extensively right now. So aren't we going to need more schools if our communities are growing? So, it seems like maybe it was a bad decision to close it if we are now on the upswing. If it's going to be sold, was it put out to bid? Were there other people, able to come in and put a bid on that for more money? And if not, why not? And I guess I feel like you guys are responsible to maximize the value of the taxpayer facility. So if there's something wrong with the building, now you're going to offload it to Chesterfield. I've already been paying into the school for decades, and now it's going to be dumped onto my township, and we're going to pay more money to do the work that maybe the school board should be doing with it. I know that there's still some current programs going on at that school. I don't really know that much about them. I think it's like an early childcare program. And then also I know that's according to the article, the schools were like split off and it went into Nuldret because it was a bigger school. But now I was just kind of heard a rumor that that school is being expanded. And if that's the case, then why wouldn't we just move them back to Sugar Bush? Thank you.
Thank you. And next I have Mr. Joe Kadich. I apologize if I said that wrong.
Good evening. Is this Ellen, I guess?
Mhm.
My name is Joe Kadich. I live in Chesterfield also. I've got some questions also about Sugar Bush School being sold. Currently Chesterfield is leasing the school for 3 years, I believe. But the supervisor is now talking about buying the school. Reportedly for about $2.3 million. Basically, I want to know, did the school board enter into negotiations with the supervisor? Is that where that number came from, or is this his wish list? How did this all come about? Whether it's the school board or Kirsten that initiated the contact and started working on the sale. The other thing is, if you've been dealing just with him, or was this put out for bid so they could maximize the value of that school? I'm basically looking, how did you come to that number? And could it be worth more if you sold it to somebody else? And the school is over 50 years old. We know that. We know it was partially shuttered because obviously the school board didn't want to put any money into it, if they needed it or not. I'm not sure whether they did. But being that it's basically fully depreciated, and the taxpayers in Chesterfield that also pay the taxes to the Anchor Bay School Board, paid for that school. And I'm looking now is if you're gonna sell it to Chesterfield, and we paid for it already, why wouldn't you just transfer it as a net asset transfer of whatever it's worth, which is almost nothing? You depreciate it, you've got the money that we paid into it. And if you're gonna give it back to Chesterfield residents to pay the taxes initially, I think that should be done. We basically, if we pay to whatever we paid for it, and you're ready to get rid of it, you're gonna give it back, don't sell it to us. Just get a net asset transfer and give it to us. It bothered the heck out of me if I found out I have to pay for that school twice. And if you do sell it for the 2.3 million, you don't transfer it and you charge us for it again. Would that money that you get from it, the 2.3 million, that would obviously should go back into the bond fund that we just approved last year. For, I don't know, extended it and increased it. And we approved it for an X amount. Now, this is additional monies that probably will be going back into it. So if you're gonna sell it to us and not give it to us, I think you ought to credit the taxpayers, the Anchor Bay School District taxpayers in Chesterfield with that 2.3 million off the next year's tax rolls.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can I leave this with somebody or everybody copy down what it's?
Um,
Somebody else will go back to.
So, just so that both of you are aware, it's not board policy for the individual board members or the board to speak to those answers tonight. But our superintendent or somebody or myself, or actually Mr. Green, the president, will be in contact with you probably in the next 48 hours or so, with likely all of those answers. Okay, we'll move to communications.
No communications.
Okay, and so we'll move to our consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda consists of the approval of the minutes of the December 13th, 23 regular meeting, the personnel report, the financial report, and the bills payable for December of 2023. Is there a motion regarding the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
There's support?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Go ahead and call the roll.
Mr. Moses,
Yes.
Mr. Green,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Vendatelli,
Yes.
Mr. Giroux,
Yes.
Ms. Knox, yes.
Motion passes. Are moving into new business. We have our annual reauthorization motion. So annually, the board reauthorizes various roles for administration to maintain continuity of operations. So bear with me, so I will read this, that the board approve that Comerica, Fifth Third, MILAF, or the Michigan Liquid Asset Fund, BNY of New York, U.S. Bank is hereby designated as the authorized depository for district funds. The signature authorization recommendation for signatures on financial matters is as follows. Payroll checks, the superintendent and assistant superintendent. Accounts payable checks, or all funds, the superintendent and assistant superintendent. That Robin Randazzo, Director of Business Services, is hereby designated as the electronic transfer officer to perform those functions and responsibilities otherwise described by board policy or applicable law. That Todd Rathbund, Assistant Superintendent, hereby designated as the administrator to assume responsibilities of acquiring, awarding, and rejecting formal and bond construction bids as required by law. That Raymond is hereby designated as auditor of the board. That Todd Rathbund, Assistant Superintendent, is hereby designated to HIPAA Compliance Office. That Laura Gonzalez, Director of Human Resources, is hereby designated as the FOIA Coordinator. That Amanda DePape, Director of Security, is hereby designated as School Safety Liaison. That Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors LLC is hereby designated as Financial Advisor to the Board. That Troon, Miller Johnson, and Seacrest to represent the district as legal counsel. And that all resolution and parts of resolution insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution be and the same are hereby rescinded. So the recommendation is that the board approve this reauthorization motion that I presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion?
Mr. Moses,
Yes.
Ms. Knox, yes. Mr. Vendatelli,
Yes.
Mr. Giroux,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Green.
Yes.
Great, motion passes. We move on to field trip authorizations. So first I have the BPA State Leadership Conference in Grand Rapids from March 7th to 10th. There will be 11 students and 2 chaperones, James Wagner and Kristen Anderson chaperoning, and they will stay at the Amway Grand Hotel. The recommendation is for the board to approve this field trip for the State Leadership Conference.
So moved. I'll second, but Is it possible just to, I mean, if anybody doesn't have an objection to approve all 4 of them, or do we need to do them one at a time?
We already approved the agenda written this way, unfortunately.
So all 4, sir.
All right.
You said, yeah, Mike said. Sorry. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Passes. Next, we have the DECA States are March 14th to 16th, 35 students with 4 adults staying overnight at the Detroit Marriott at the Renaissance Center. So the recommendation is to approve this. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. We have the HOSA Michigan State Leadership Conference, April 18th and 19th at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. They will leave after school the 17th, return home on the 20th in the morning. We have 18 competing and 3 chaperones. The recommendation is to approve. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. And last but not least, a Spanish trip. We have 27 students and 4 chaperones, which are high school teachers, traveling to Spain on June 17th to June 25th. The board had an itinerary and travel information attached. So the recommendation is that the board approve the trip to Spain for the Spanish classes. Their motion?
Make the motion.
Their support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes. Next, we will have a policy reading on dress code. You know, it says policy first reading, or is this supposed to be second?
No, this is first.
First.
Is it still? Okay. Hold on, I'm scrolling. So the board had the dress code update, so this would be for a first reading of the policy. Is there any discussion?
Do we want to post this? Since our first reading is out, so that parents and students can see what parents and students came up with for our dress code? That's literally how it works, right? The committee was parents, students, teachers, so can we get it posted on our website just so that as the word makes it out there that we've made some minor changes and kind of reaffirmed what we're doing?
Mhm.
That they can see what their committee recommended and that we're now approving.
Okay, absolutely.
Sweatpants, t-shirts, right? Mandatory.
I believe we discussed that, sir, and I do not believe that is in the dress code,
Just making
even if
sure.
we're paying for them.
All right, just making sure.
Right, Todd?
Any other comments or questions from the board? Okay. So we will move on to board comments and points of pride. Mr. Richards?
Thank you. I'd like to thank the students and the teacher cadet program that hosted the hat and glove drive. Students were able to collect 93 hats and gloves that were donated to the Anchor Bay Elementary students. The Anchor Bay Aquatic and Fitness Recreation Center is hosting a kickball league. I have some volunteers that can help with that. Games and practices are in April and May at the fields behind the Aquatic Center. The registration link is on the Anchor Bay website under Activities tab. Congratulations to the Anchor Bay girls wrestling team. They dominated at the Traverse Holiday Classic, coming in second place. Congratulations. The Anchor Bay Winter Formal is this Saturday, February 3rd at the high school. Tickets are still available. I'd like to recognize the high school link crew and the National Honor Society that joined forces for the Coca and Cram. The two groups worked with freshman students to prepare for midterms. There is a spaghetti fundraiser for Maggie Barber, who was recently diagnosed with lung cancer. Margie Barber. Margie has been dedicated Anchor Bay bus driver for 17 years. The fundraiser is Saturday, March 9th at the Cedar Glen Golf Club from 2 to 7. Congratulations to the Anchor Bay HOSA Club that competed in the regional competition at Fraser High School. HOSA had an all-time record number of medals. 15 medals were won and 18 students qualified to move on to HOSA state competition in April. I'd like to thank the Anchor Bay Band Booster Club for hosting the Taste Fest. It was the largest turnout to date, and I'd like to thank all the area restaurants that came out to participate as well. It was a great event. Congratulations to the 2022-2023 award schools, which are Lottie, Great Oaks, Lighthouse, Ashley, Naldrit, and Middle School North. Anchor Bay bleacher seats are now available at the school store. Come and get one while supplies last. Congratulations to our December Student Athlete of the Month, Colin Martell. Colin has been a part of the football and basketball program and is a very positive and respectful. Colin maintains a 4.149 GPA with honors and AP classes. Also, congratulations to Ava Nestor. Ava is competitive cheerleader at the high school. She's a hard worker, organized, and excels in school. Ava has a 3.583 GPA and is a sophomore. Congratulations to the Anchor Bay School Relay for Life team that raised over $900 at the Slam Dunk Cancer event at the high school. I'd also like to recognize the Anchor Bay bus drivers that raised $500 as we have a bus driver I spoke about earlier battling a rare care lung cancer. Thank you to everyone that participated. January 9th was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. I'd like to recognize all the law enforcement officers that helped make a difference in our schools. Officer Ryan Wilson from Chesterfield, Detective Jeremy Dixon, New Baltimore, Deputy Dave Ferguson, and Interim Deputy Jacob Garza of St. Clair Sheriff's Department. I'd like to thank the students from Macons Elementary School that helped ring the bell for the Salvation Army prior to the holiday break. Thank you for your community service. Congratulations to North Student of the Month, 6th grade Riley Polson, 7th grade Natalie Harwood, and 8th grade RJ Shore. Great job. The Anchor Bay Trap Team spring registration begins February 1st. Congratulations to Middle School North Captain of the Month, Jenny Thomas. She's involved in after-school activities like Green Team, Craft Club, and dances. She's always looking for new lessons that will better her students. My points of pride this month were everyone, staff and students that recognized the school board. It was a very cool event tonight. Watching the choir sing and I could actually see the seniors in the background, singing the fight song as well. So it was very cool. And I'd like to thank all the board members for everything that you guys do volunteer. I know it's a very high paying job and, thank you for everything everyone does. And I've learned a lot too, so thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, I wanted to thank the students, staff, parents, and community for supporting the Board of Education. It's exceptional to see our youth be involved and learn what the role of a school board is in a community, because I think that's the most frustrating part about being a board member is voting adults that don't understand the impact that their votes have when they vote for a board. So hopefully our younger generations are going to learn a bit more about that and can be more involved and more proactive. My point of pride is that I appreciate Ms. Berkmeyer's leadership, and it was evident with her motion to not have herself be president. She believes it's good to have a changing of the guard so our board doesn't become stale and complacent, and that's evidence of that. So thank you, Lisa, for your leadership over the last 2 years as we got a new superintendent and had a lot of transitions and things. So thank you.
So I was blessed today to go up to Lansing and participate in a Safety and Mental Health Commission meeting. So I've got a couple of things that I brought home for you. And then for you to kind of disseminate as you see fit. Through the funding of my commission and working with Michigan State Police, we've managed to create and are going to run a school safety academy that is designed exactly for director type level position in a district. There are going to be 6 sessions that are going to take place across the state. They are 2-day sessions. I know there's a couple coming up in maybe April and then in September again here in Southeast Michigan. Have her visit Michigan State Police's Office of School Safety webpage. She could register there. There's no cost to register for the classes, for the meals. If for some reason she decided she wanted to stay overnight, obviously, we'll cover that portion as the district, but it's a great opportunity for her to get out and interact with other people who are doing what she's doing. And like I said, there's 6. There's 1 in the UP, a couple out west, 1 in Central, and then 2 Southeast Michigan, I think April and September. Those are going to be well attended. They are limited to 125 people. Have her let me know which one she's going to go to because I get to attend as well. And I'm planning on going there to see what we're doing. It's run by Michigan State Police, and they've got experts from across the country on really school safety. So it should be really, some of it would be review for her because of her experience, but a lot of it is train the trainer type stuff that she can bring back and teach to her building people, to you, to me, and everybody else along the way. The other thing that I thought that would be good for her to attend, let me cruise through my notes here. Safety and Mental Health Summit is taking place in Lansing on April 29th and 30. The 29 is a pre-conference. The 30 is the actual conference. Again, organized by the state of Michigan. I think there's a $200 fee to attend this particular conference. I would encourage her to go to that if it fits into her schedule. And if she can get there, again, if she could do both days, that'd be great. The first day is going to be really focused on law enforcement and the experts. Again, it's a little bit different than the Safety Academy. The Safety Academy is more of train the trainer, go back to your district and do these things. The Mental Health Summit is really more focused on the well-being and health of our students. So again, if she could do both of those, I'm going to try to make both, but it's unlikely that I'll be able to. I want to thank everyone who came out for the school board appreciation. It's always great to get snacks. So I appreciate that. I was disappointed that Mr. Drew showed up at the last minute because I was eyeballing his snacks and now he's apparently here. Ms. Burkmeyer, I also want to thank you for your last 2.5 years of leadership. To your credit, new superintendent, new high school principal. We got a bond to successfully be passed. And quite frankly, much to my chagrin, you've decided to step back into the shadows. I wasn't quite prepared for that. So I appreciate the support of the board and I promise I won't abuse that support, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the leadership. I know it's difficult with new faces, with Mr. Jankowski coming in and the hours that you literally put in every week, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So, and I appreciate all of you guys because it's a thankless job. I know, as I think Dennis or somebody mentioned that if we were becoming very wealthy community members by being board members and being paid, but I really do appreciate everything you guys do. That's it.
Ms. Bergmeyer, thank you for your leadership for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, sorry. Kind of just want to say thanks to all the stuff for the appreciation, the concert, the music, the items. It always amazes me what our students can do on a daily basis. It's really incredible. And that's my point of pride, is basically our Anchor Bay students are the best.
Well, yeah, I came in late to the students' little concert. It was the tail end of it was good, and I'm sure the beginning of it was great. I apologize for being late. I was at work late, working, and just flew across. Probably broke a lot of laws that you were with the police today doing.
We don't
But
talk about that in public.
yeah.
It's all recorded, sir.
I'm already here. So, but yeah, thanks to the students. Thanks for the good stuff and the treats. Pat, you're not getting my cookies. I need them. Didn't get dinner. So thank you guys, and everybody have a good night.
I have a couple items. First off, congratulations to Gene Thomas for being picked as the captain of the month. Great work. As well as to acknowledge that Anchor Bay has several career pathways at Anchor Bay, including 16 CTE, career technical education programs. It's a great opportunity to explore careers that might interest you and perhaps find out what you don't want to do. You thought was a good idea and perhaps learned maybe that's not for you. At least better to find out in college and before you have to pay college tuition for it. Sorry, high school before you have to pay college tuition for it. As well, school choice applications open up February 15th. Now is a great time to tell your friends about it. Come join the Anchor Bay Club. I heard it's a great time going to school here. As well as Mr. Green, thank you for all your work with the school mental health and security commission that you're a part of. appreciate the work that you put in on top of being part of the school board, as well as thank you to all the school board members for coming to the meetings and committees and whatnot every single month, as well as Mr. Drew, we're glad to have you back this past couple of months, as well as.
John, what are we doing here?
If you're not
Thank
giving
you
up the
for-
cookies, you pay the price.
Well, we're glad to have you. So, that's all I got. Thank you.
Let me just, I see this as a common theme. I don't want to start nothing, but I apologize again. I did last meeting for missing for the general public. I've been on this board for 6 years. Overall, I have not missed that many meetings. I get you guys needed to make a motion and you guys needed to make a point that I may have missed some in this past year, but it's been a crazy time for my work. And I think we can all appreciate up here, like we just said, the work that we put into this. And my job needs to come first. And I will represent, and I've put hours upon hours into this school board since I've been on it. Maybe disagreed with people on this board over the time. That happens. It is what it is. We move on. I can move on. But I represent 1,500 members, 2,600 belly buttons. That's a lot of work for me. And they're going to come first, and then I'm going to come here and I'm going to do everything I can to support the school district. But I don't appreciate, and maybe it's just a comment, but like that I was neglecting some duty by missing a few meetings. This term is 6 years. The first 2 years, we went through a lot on this board. We went through a superintendent that wasn't very popular. We went through COVID. I was president of this board. I was in this building many nights and not with my family. I would be here late with that superintendent till 1 or 2 in the morning because I work late at times. So I apologize. I know I didn't like getting the letter from Ms. Berkmeyer. I didn't like getting the email. I never got a phone call from anybody. I never got any of that, never got reached out. What's wrong? Is there something going on? But I get a motion by this school board to say something about me. All of us have missed meetings over the course of 6 years. Now, let's not point fingers. Let's not start doing that. But I just feel like I'm trying to do my best and I'm finishing out the term. And to be asked to resign or that I'm doing something against, I was going to be quiet about it, but you guys keep bringing it up. Stop. I'm trying to be professional, but I don't want the public and I don't want anybody in this room to feel like I neglected my duty or I neglected the residents who elected me here. I do have a full-time job. So I apologize. I don't want to be the negative guy anymore. I want to just finish my term.
Mr. Drew,
That's all.
let me jump in here because I think you're misinterpreting what I was trying to do there. So I wanted to acknowledge that, yes, you have missed a number of meetings, but I was trying to paint it in a picture as though it was a good thing that you accepted our criticisms. And instead of lashing out in some negative way saying, I'm not going to resign, I'm not going to show up, that you instead decided to show up. And I was trying to give you praise for lack of better words, swallowing your pride and showing up and being present here. With regards to a lot of the other items that you said, yes, I agree, working your job is important. We don't want you to drive 100 miles an hour to get here. That's not, I don't want you to overwork yourself. But it's also the factor of if this is something that's outside of the commitment, there's no hard feelings in saying that you can't make this commitment anymore. Like you said, you were here for 6 years. You dealt with a lot more than I have. Personally speaking, I've only been here for a year. It's been incredibly rough on you. From what you're describing, it sounds to me like you're overworked. There's no shame if you don't want to be here to step down. And I don't want you to get the wrong idea that you being here is me somehow criticizing you. I apologize that it came across that way. Maybe I should have phrased it. Sometimes, that's one of my limitations is I don't phrase things properly. How they come across in my mind doesn't always mean how they come across when I speak the words. So I apologize for that. Did not mean to offend you, but that's all I was trying to convey.
All right.
Last thing.
Nope. We're going to move on because I'm going to give
You're
my
going to let
board
him say that
comments.
and you're not going to let me say
You
one more
already-
thing?
You spoke,
you-
he rebutted.
is-
I'm moving on to my board comments now that I have not had a chance. So I'm still
This is-
president for a
that's-
few months.
That's something. You said it publicly.
All right.
Said it publicly that I didn't want to be here. Go ahead, gavel me, but you allow someone on the board to say my name and to say I didn't want to be here. And to swallow my pride.
Nobody said you didn't
That's
want to
exactly
be
what he
here.
just said. Roll the tape back, Lisa. So I told you, all I'm saying is, yes, I want to be here. Yes, I want to be part of this board. Yes, work gets crazy at times.
We're going to move on.
Yeah.
Point of order. So I would like to also thank the people that came out tonight for the Board of Education, the fifth graders, the band, also Ms. Kenward. Thank you for directing the organized chaos that you frequently do for us. And as for points of pride, you know, I have enjoyed my time as president working with Mr. Jankowski, also briefly Mr. Rathbun, and it's been an honor to lead this board. I have no doubts that the incoming executive board will do a fantastic job. And just to point on that, just to speak to that a little bit, you know, I knew that there was some interest in some movement in those seats, but also, you know, my personal belief when I stopped and thought back, because frankly, I enjoyed being president and working with Mr. Jankowski and being in the know, and to be totally honest, my children really like knowing when we're going to have a school snow day before everybody else. So they're pretty upset with me over this. But, you know, when I think about why I ran for the school board, you know, I'm in the middle of a 6-year term, but my first term was a partial term. And I didn't like the complacency that I saw on the board at the time. And I look at other districts when we've gone to conferences for the state, and the way that it's very easy to fall into a situation of complacency, and that everybody is comfortable with their role, comfortable as we all get to know one another. And we understand, you know, I know that Mr. Green will ask questions about finance, and as will Mr. Richards. And, you know, we all have our niches of information. But to avoid getting so comfortable that we just start relying on one another for those things. And by switching up the roles, I think we're able to hopefully prevent that sort of thing from happening. I think Mr. Jankowski will work with anybody, so I don't think that's an issue. But, you know, maybe we'll keep him on his toes with a new president. But I don't
Don't write
anticipate.
checks that I have to cash.
I think he could work well with anybody. So that said, you know, just thinking about why I ran and the kind of thing I wanted to see on the board while I enjoy this role, I think it's time to move on. And maybe that's, while it's not in our bylaws that there's any sort of limits to the roles, I'm hoping that maybe we'll kind of have an unwritten precedent that we kind of keep either rotating or moving through, you know, and changing up, self-limiting ourselves in these positions, and for the betterment of the district and for our board. So that was just a little explanation as to why I made the motion that I did and kind of moved myself out of any sort of executive position. But I will still be engaged with the board and working on things with one another. So that is all I got. Do we have any legislative update?
Legislative update, nothing's really kind of moving because the House is still deadlocked. However, yesterday was the primary for the two open positions that are there. They will be, I think it's April, I think it's the beginning of April, they will have the final election. So then the House will be able to move things. The big thing that's been going on is the Consensus Revenue Estimating Conference. So that was earlier this month. The state does that in January and then May. So the prediction that came in for the budget was that there would be a decline in the budget for the school aid fund, which they anticipated. However, that decline is less than what they anticipated the decline would be at this point. So then they will start, you saw the governor had the state of the state. Part of that, there's two large components that we're interested in following. One is how does the acceleration of the 4-year-old universal preschool, how will that be funded? How will that operate? There was a 4-year ramp up. And so our belief was, and what we were told was that they would just move the qualifying income threshold up. And that was what we were operating under. Now it'll be accelerated 2 years. How will the funding work? How do we if we have to put that in place next year? So we're anticipating details to come out as the governor will present her budget sometime here in the next few weeks. That'll be followed by each chamber. Roughly about 2 or 3 weeks after is the normal calendar. And then the other one is the universal community college. And so because that directly affects many of our high schoolers, how would that work? So we're just going to keep our eye on that, and especially in light of the budget. So more details to follow, but I think between now and that election, you'll see the other budgets come out, so we'll have an idea. Hopefully they can get it done before July 1st so that we can have our budget accurate based off of what we're anticipating, not typically, which is, I think, something like 7 of the last 9 years. It's always come in after the board has to set their budget. So let's hope. And that's all.
Okay. Board committee updates.
Wait a minute.
Did not have any committee meetings at this point. I know there's some in the works in the upcoming weeks, so.
Yeah.
All right, so I will take a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, meeting adjourns at 8:21.